Right, sir.
Just say start.
हाँ यहाँ पे दिख गया सर.
So started.
Okay.
Evening, everyone. We, the members, the people associated with Haryana chapter of AIOTA, would welcome all of you for a
So
talk
started.
on
Everyone,
the topic of core
we the
activation in
members
children. And for this
associate with
talk, we have today with us uh, Dr. Nitish Garg. He is an active occupational therapist in Gurgaon. He has about 10 years of experience. He's a postgraduate in occupational therapy in developmental disabilities. He's registered by AIOTA as a lifetime member. He has several other certification programs that he has completed beyond his formal qualifications. He has been actively working not just for children who are coming to the center, but also for many other parents and children through online media, through his own YouTube channel, and through home-based interventions that he has developed and he shares with all the interested parents and students. We welcome you, Nitish, on this program, and we are very happy to invite you. And we would be very keen to listen to you about core activation and its importance in
Yeah.
children.
Thank you,
Over
sir.
to you,
Thank
Nitish.
you. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for introducing me. First of all, greeting to all my fellow professionals and all other attendees. I am very glad to have this opportunity today to share a part of knowledge that I can share with you all, just because of tireless and how many hours of effort Manish sir and the whole HIOTA team puts in. So I do hope that I will be able to share a lot of information that will be helpful for you in general. And before I go about my topic, I would just like to introduce a little about my profession OT, because 27th October was observed as World OT Day. And to just give a small historical evidence, importance to it, that our profession formally got first school in Chicago in 1915, and in India it was introduced by Mrs. Kamla B. Nimkar in 1950. And since then, OT have been practicing in varied capacity and a lot to share. So going to my presentation. Just a minute. So the topic of interest today I have taken is importance of core muscle activation in children. This topic is pretty important for everybody, for all of us, because uh, in our journey till now, we've tried to find a lot of reasons of why the child is not able to functionally perform a lot of stuff. So today's topic will give you some more insight to it. Points of discussion of today is what constitute core. Few reasons of. Yes, Rajiv. Yeah. So today's point of discussions are what constitute core, few reasons for poor core strength in children, role of core in functional skills, and how to improve core strength in children. Generally, when we hear about the word core muscle, we all go like, okay, fine, this is more about abdomens, having a six-pack ab and all this stuff. But yes, abdomen is a part of core muscle. It is not the whole sum of core group. So in this picture, you can see the core considered a lot of other muscles. And as I will be stating the names, you can understand how important core becomes in our development itself. Because core muscles include abdominals, lumbar region muscles, so they form our postural balance. Pelvic floor muscles that works a lot with our uh, bowel and bladder control, apart from the hip musculature, gluteus maximus, and diaphragm. So when I say diaphragm, then for sure the core impact are speech also. So generally, why there's a poor core in children? So the poor core strength can be associated with many reasons. I have tried to summarize few. Generally, when we work with children who are on development disabilities, in them we find a poor core strength generally. A very common thing that is associated is low muscle tone. When the child is having a low muscle tone, you will find that the core in general is not up to the mark. And related disorders like it can be a Down syndrome where you find low muscle tone in general. So the core of Down syndrome children are weak. But when we come to children with on autism spectrum also, as most of you have practiced for so many years, so you would have seen that generally the kids feel a little softy, a little uh, mushy and all. So when you see they have in general a low tone, and the data that is there that shows that 30% of the children on autism spectrum disorder have moderate to severe low tone. So that considered as a big part of their functional dependency. They are not able to perform a lot of tasks. They are not able to perform a lot of skill because the core is not that strong to uphold and let other part of our human body work completely. Other reasons that can be there are environmental changes that we see. There's a low physical activity generally with in these days. There are reduced play areas and play options. And if we talk about the lifestyle changes that we all are going through, it is more screen-based engagement because see, in this Corona time, there has been a lot of being homebound. So children who are not on the spectrum also, or children without development disabilities also, have been given more of screen-based engagement, dependency on gadget, turning into couch potatoes. So their core is also generally getting weak. And it is not just the flabbiness, it is about the internal muscles that are not that great to hold up together and perform our functions. And one of a very common lifestyle change that you see with younger children, there is a reduced floor time and tummy time of children. So if there's a reduced floor time or tummy time for the children, they will have difficulty with alternate movements in general when they grow up. Now, okay, fine. We have discussed about core, that what constitute of core. It is not just six pack ab. It has a lot of different muscles working together. So why we are talking about that if core is not strong? If my core muscles are not strong, so I will go by the statements here. Core muscles have an effect on other activities such as balance and coordination, and is important foundation that may be must be established before working on higher skill levels. So when we talk about us as humans, as children, what we look is functional skills, how much the child is adapting to the functional skills, how much they are gaining into it. And if my core muscle is affected, so going to the higher level skills will become difficult, because in a rush we always say that okay fine, abhi writing nahi aaya sir, abhi there is an impact on handwriting, there is still impact, the child is not able to grip it nicely and all. And what we see that, oh, the core, the posture itself is not that strong. So for a parent, it becomes the higher picture. They generally see the higher goals, that the handwriting is not that great. But if we go, we take few steps back on what all skills should be achieved before we go on the handwriting training, then yes, there should be a good strong core foundation, so that my posture and my sitting balance is much better, so that I can let my arms work and let my fingers, my hand do the fine motor skill training. So I have just pointed out a few more points here. A weak core can cause difficulties in balance, especially the dynamic stability, posture, or sitting tolerance. So there is one red flag against sitting tolerance can be caused due to poor core. Speech. Yes, speech can be impacted because of the poor core. Handwriting and higher motor execution. A child can plan that, okay, fine, I have to go on a height of 2 feet, then I have to come down. But if my core is not that supporting, then I will have a lot of compensation executing that motor function. So we should always remember that a weak core can cause a lot of difficulty. That it can be an underlying thing that we might have given a go, but we have not worked upon it. So as parents, as professionals, it's a big request from my end to most of my clients, most of the parents that I work with, that work on the core muscles to get a lot of input getting together. So now I will be going point by point about what I had discussed about core, what difficulties it can cause. So one of a very common thing that we observe is there's a poor balance. There's a tendency to fall. There is, when I'm going down to pick something, I'm not able to do that completely, right? Why? Because when we talk about dynamic stability, balance, there are three systems in our body which help to control our balance and optimum function. When they are working together, optimum function, then only that balance is adequate enough to perform this task. The system that you should be very much aware is a vestibular system is directly linked with our balance. Then our visual correction, that when I see object, then I try to balance the visual uh, area. Tells me that how much, where should I put myself and all. And then comes the proprioceptive feedback to the body that comes from core muscles. The core muscles tend to work as a proprioceptive feedback when we are trying to balance ourselves on a wobble surface, on balance beam, or when we are just trying to go down, pick it up, pick something from the floor. So it tells, the vestibular system tell us where our position, vestibular and visual system tell us the position in the space, and that the core muscles give us the feedback that how much it will allow us to bend and how much it will allow us to get up. And then apart from balance, there comes the static stability that we see as posture. So core plays a very big role in the postural stability, because when the core muscles are weak, the spine doesn't have adequate support to maintain the posture naturally. So if you see that we get we as parents, you would have seen that there's a tendency of W sitting with the child, and they are they tend to do that completely again and again. So it is not just the uh, lower limbs, it is the core that is there. One reason that it is present, the W sitting is happening again and again, is because of our core muscles. And when we see slouch posture, when our core is not that great, the core muscles are not co-contracting together, the front and the abdominals and the back muscles are not working in adjunct, so we are not able to sustain a upright posture. That definitely then that impact our sitting tolerance itself. You will see the child will sit for some time, they will wave around, try to find that balance in the body, they are not able to take that up, they will move around and try to find that core stability, they will keep on trying to find the stability. So it is really important that we should understand what all areas the core can impact. So one is the balance, one is the posture. And having a weak core muscle, again, this is when we have weak core muscle, we have a house with unstable foundation. So generally when we all work, we try to develop a strong foundation. We try to develop a strong base so that we can put up higher skills slowly and steadily, step by step there. And having a weak core muscle is like having a house with an unstable foundation. It is just like having a card house that can be easily broken down. So, and these days you will see that because we have a poor, the children are having more of a sitting time, more of a couch time. So they are becoming, their posture is becoming slouched, their posture is becoming C curve, and that is not a healthy posture at all. Now comes to a topic that few will be surprised, and but in our practice, Manisha has been for a long time much senior to me. Rajiv has been practicing. Other therapists have been practicing. They would see that when we start working on the core, there is a definite change that start coming into the speech power. Why is it? Because if we go back, my core the core group has diaphragm into it, and diaphragm plays a very crucial role in breathing itself. So, the diaphragm plays a crucial role as it adjusts the pressure during changing lung volume and promotes rapid inspiration during connected speech. So when right now I'm talking to you for a long duration, so there's an automatic reaction happening. I'm involuntarily doing, but because my body has adapted so much, my core is working in conjunct to each other, core muscles are working in conjunct to each other, that I am able to sustain that diaphragmatic breathing on automatically, and I'm able to produce this pitch. If I want to talk in a lower pitch and all, suddenly my posture will go down. You cannot talk in this posture loudly. So when you need to speak loud, you need to do the diaphragmatic breathing to produce that loudness, to produce that vibration, so that your voice can be heard to a longer distance. And this is what you go through a lot, that our children have a lot of difficulty modulating that how much pressure need is there. When I want to talk, they might go very loud, they might go very loud where they are not supposed to go loud, because they are not able to maintain, they are not able to modulate that breathing pattern. And the louder they try to speak, their vocal folds are vibrating too much. So when we are doing diaphragmatic breathing, that help us produce a better controlled sound, a better controlled volume of sound, because it impacts, because the changing pressure of lung volume promotes the connected speech while I am exhaling and sorry, I am doing inspiration and exhalation continuously. So it is impacting my speech also. Now, this was one topic that I was discussing with you earlier also as an example of core difficulty. So uh, I have got a lot of children. I have worked with a lot of children whose parent will come with a complaint. Sir, the legibility is not there. The child is not able to write fluently. And when we go and check beyond our hand function, we check the posture of the child and all. So there is a difficulty, because when I don't have a good posture, when I don't have a good posture, there will be a difficulty of how much pressure, the way I'm sitting. Because when we want to write, we maintain a posture, stabilize our non we stabilize our non-dominant hand on the table or on a writing surface. We allow we are co-contracting our abdomen and back muscle so that I can maintain my posture upright, so that my shoulder girdle can move. My shoulder girdle can move in space better. It is not that Now, if I'm sitting like this and writing, but obvious, my posture is not great. If I'm sitting like this and writing, but obvious, I'm slouched, my both hands are on the table, and the range of writing will get limited. The range where I'm writing will get limited itself. So when we talk about core, we talk about the posture. When we talk about the good posture that helps in handwriting itself. Because as I told you, the axial skeleton will work much better when, sorry, the shoulder girdle will work much better when my uh, musculoskeleton is in a upright posture. It's maintained. My muscles are working in coherence to produce that posture where I can have a free range of writing. Handwriting efficiency is dependent upon, that is what I have written here, that handwriting efficiency is dependent upon good posture and visual skills. Yes, visual skills are also very much important for handwriting, because handwriting is about the visual perceptual skills getting better, and the posture where I am maintaining myself to produce a legible writing. Then the core body strength and posture again are two of the vital links that build handwriting efficiency. So if you see, both the points are pointing towards the one main area, that my core is really important when it comes to handwriting. So it's an appeal to all the parents, all the professionals, because professionals are taking care of that already. But to most of the parents there, that when the child is having a poor handwriting, having difficulty in producing a legible writing, or it's a too light writing, or too much of, it's a paper tearing writing, you should, yes, focus on the proprioceptive needs and all, but we should surely see that how the posture of the child, how the child is maintaining the posture. Generally, if I will be working on top of anything, there will be a chance that I will be putting more pressure to it. If I'm going back and writing, then my pressure will come less. It will not be that great, because if I'm on it, my whole body pressure will come there. If I'm back, I'm not able to maintain my posture, and I'm lacking back, I'm sitting back and writing, then it will not be a very dark writing. It will be, most probably it will be very light writing. So again, with handwriting, when it comes to the visual component, so we have discussed about core and handwriting impact. Now, apart from handwriting, there is one very common area that as parent have a difficulty with: the attention of the child. Again, it will come back to one of the reasons that might be underlying, that you might have not given importance to, is a child with weak core muscle. A child with weak core muscle will have difficulty maintaining an upright posture. And yes, my brain is always trying to find a suitable posture. So my brain will spend a lot of time adapting to the body position to compensate. So generally, there will be a lot of compensation happening around. The child will be moving, and his my back is not strong, my core is not strong. I will be into a constant, there will be constant change in my position happening again and again, which will lead to a which will lead to me spending more time adapting to the position to compensate my poor core. And that will automatically impact to my ability to attend to the task. Just imagine that you want to focus on one task, but your brain is again and again saying that, oh, I'm not able to find that center of gravity, I'm not able to find that good posture. So you want to attend the class, you want to be aware to what is happening in your class, what your teacher is teaching you, what your parents are teaching you, what your therapist is teaching you, but you are constantly trying to just adjust. You find a position, you lounge on it, you make your position somewhere, discomfortable position. Again, your brain will say it's giving me discomfort, let's change the position. Again, your attention will waver from your task. So core muscles can impact your attention. Now, this is one topic that a lot of parents have difficulty dealing with, toilet training. And core plays there also a crucial role, because as I have shown you that in that picture, that there is pelvic muscles that are part of core group. So if my pelvic muscles are not strong, so in general, there will be a difficulty of incontinence that can happen. And when my core is not that strong, my reception, my proprioceptive and interoception will not be working hand to hand to tell me, to register the input that my stomach is full, my bowel is full. Now I need to clear it up. Because if my core is weak, my proprioceptive input that is going to the brain are impacted. Yeah. So we are back to this topic. So as pelvic muscles are part of core group, it is very crucial to activate core muscles for better proprioception as well as interoception based inputs to register and respond in a coordinated manner. Because ultimately, when we talk about our stomach, when we talk about potty training, or we talk about children not having the feel that their stomach is full or their bowel is full or their bladder is full, so those are the visceral organs. But visceral organs are have to produce that input, that feeling to the brain that yes, either we are empty or we are full. So that is supported by the proprioception that is produced by our core muscles. Children, so that is what I have stated here, that children with weak core muscles have higher probability of not achieving independency sooner. So to all the parents who are training their child for toilet potty training and susu time and everything, so they should they should introduce core activities that can help create better input, a better input to the brain, so that they can the brain can tell that yes, it's the time now, I need to empty myself out. So if I want to say here that discussing that core impacts my attention, core impacts my handwriting, core impacts my toilet training, core impacts my
मीटिंग चल
posture,
रही है ना,
core impacts my
ऑक्यूपेशनल थेरेपिस्ट बता रहा है कि जिन बच्चों में टॉयलेट ट्रेनिंग वगैरह लेकर आती है और देर से इंडिपेंडेंट होते हैं, कोर मसल स्ट्रेंथ की बात कर रहा है। प्रतीक्षा ने ज्वाइन किया था, इसको सुला रहे थे इसलिए नहीं ज्वाइन कर पाई थी, 5 बजे से था।
So when we are talking about that core impacts so many areas, so we can say that having a good core, I'm not asking again for 6-pack ab or 12 packs or 8 packs, but having a good core does help in functional independence skills that are our ADL skills. It helps in our it helps us to engage and achieve our ADL better and to perform in that much better. So when we have learned about yes, core impact so many areas, so what can we do about it? So as OTs, we are well equipped with ways, equipments and ideas to engage the core. And as Manish sir has in the introduction has said that yes, I run a YouTube channel. There I have put on few videos that where how you can engage your child in a fun-based way that the core can get engagement. The better the engagement, the better the core, the better the response for our body. So core activation means to engage the core so that the muscular integrity can be achieved for functional use in skills engagement. Again, the core activation will help us to have functional skill attainment at a better level. So now I will be sharing few ideas about how we can engage our core. Though so simple basic activities are bridging. Bridging is a very good activity because in this you are activating your pelvic floor, also, pelvic muscles, your back muscles, you're activating your abdominals here, you're asking all the muscles to work in coherence. You're asking all the muscles to work in coordination to produce impact on all over body. So the activities that I'm sharing are just few, and at centers, at home, ideas, and today you can search on a lot of Google, Pinterest. There are many more activities that you can engage your child with to produce that impact on the core. And again, I'm saying core doesn't just means abdominals. When you are working on core, we have to work on all the groups. This is what a lot of people miss out. That when we say core activation, they generally start doing a lot of crunches and stomach based activities, but that is not the whole part of it, because core is a group. It's not a single muscle. It's not a single set of muscle that is working. It is a whole group that is working together to produce stability in your posture, produce better balance, uh, get you a good posture to do your daily task, to engage you better in the activities that you are doing. So bridging is one example. Superman again is a great exercise because it involves a lot of muscles working together. Then push-up position. Push-ups can be taken into varied variation. You can do simple push-up position hold. You can, while doing in the push-up position, you can try to touch your shoulder alternatively, so that you are creating more and more impact on the deeper muscles. Gym ball is an excellent source. It's an excellent source to develop your dynamic stability, because when on gym ball, you can go range to range, you can go varied in, you can engage the child into various numerous activities. All the OTs out there will be with me on this topic, that gym ball you can be used in n number of ways to activate and achieve what we want from the core muscles. Swings again are a very good way to achieve core stability, core activation. But yes, what kind of swings are needed as the child's demand has to be taken care by a guided from a professional guidance, because every swing, yes, it will have a fun element to it, but in what swing, what all can be engaged, what all groups can be engaged, what all areas can be engaged, a professional OT can tell you much better. Wheelbarrow is an excellent activity again, because it just doesn't work on the core. It works a lot on your shoulder stability itself. That again helps you with your handwriting part. So I'm trying to get all the things together in a short duration of time, so that if there will be questions and all this stuff, we can discuss more about it. So more activities are balance beam, walking on the brake, maintaining a quadruped position, being on all fours, then doing a 2-point quadruped, 3-point quadruped. So in which you can engage in different activities where the child visual equity can be also utilized. And the last thing that I have written here is animal walks. Animal walks is a very dear and near topic to me, because I have seen animal walks doing wonder with the children. So there are numerous animal walks present, and each animal walk impact the whole body function differently. Especially most of the animal walk engage your core in a different format. And there are n number of other ways that I have just said that you can connect with a professional to guide you that how we can go forth if you are feeling that the child is not able to sit at one place for a longer time, the sitting tolerance is poor, sitting balance is not that great, my dynamic balance itself is not that good. While running, you feel that that's not the correct posture of running. And in general, if the child is feeling being a little more squishy, more floppy, then we should work a lot towards core activation to get the whole postural correction, the posture to maintain ourselves, the help ourselves in the dynamic balance and all. So I rest my presentation here because I have prepared it in a manner to be conducted in 35-40 minutes. Now I'm open to questions if you may have any. So these are some YouTube link that I have put here. So you can go to my channel, that's Pranav Fun Pathshala. My son has tried within this Corona time to be my partner to uh, do more activities for all the parents out there so that they can engage their children at home. And you can reach me out at my mail. This is my phone number. And now I am open to questions. Manisha, shall I stop my sharing? So friends, that was all from my side for the presentation. Now I am open to questions if there are any.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I'm a child and adolescent counselor.
Yes,
So
please.
I don't have much experience of OT, but I try to learn whenever and wherever I can. Firstly, it was a very wonderful session, and I just wanted to ask one thing, which was new to me when you said that the core muscles and the low muscle tone, it affects the speech also.
Yes.
So the exercises you have told for the child to do, that means that if we engage the child in these exercises and we make the core strong, so eventually will it help with the speech also?
Yes. So what I was telling you in the speech part also that yes, low tone itself is a very different topic. Okay. So it can impact the speech on your oromotor functions also. So that's a different discussion completely. But when we are talking about the core itself, okay. So even right now, if you want to speak, okay, the volume of your speech, if you slouch a lot, your volume of the speech will automatically decrease. And if you are a little upright, then the volume of your speech is better. And definitely when there is a better lung flow happening, the lung airflow is happening better, so that will definitely impact my vocals. Okay, so here I'm not talking about speech attainment, but here the core will impact definitely for the volume in that. Okay, so and which is a very important part when we talk about speech, that there are children who start talking but they are so their voice is so feeble that you are not able to understand that. So automatically it becomes a function learned but not a function applied completely. So there we need to develop that core stability. We need to work on that core and diaphragmatic breathing especially, so that the sound, the volume that the child wants to produce can be enhanced. Okay.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Nitishji, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yes, please.
I'm a mother to a 9-year-old autistic child. He is hearing impaired also.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I could not tune into the meeting initially because the child was a little cranky due
Yeah,
to upset
sure,
stomach.
sure.
So I missed on a few things which I'll try to catch up from a few friends who are watching the entire, I mean, who have been able to attend the entire meeting.
Surely.
Now, the thing is, my son can write
Yeah.
if I hold his hand. Now,
Yes.
if the moment I leave his hand, he would drop the pencil. And despite several efforts, I mean, I have been trying my best for the last 2-3 years, he is not getting the tripod hold of the pencil. So is it also related to the core muscle strength? He has low muscle tone, of course.
Yeah. So see, what's your good name, ma'am?
My name is Sarika.
Sarika, see, first thing that you have already told is that your child has a low muscle tone, right?
Yeah.
So first thing, surely that is playing a major role in that. But now here, I would like to understand from you that when you are playing, let's say that you are playing a catch and throw game with him, right? So is he able to en- engage his shoulders better? Is he able to, let's say, if I want to throw a ball towards someone, so what we will generally do, we will engage our uh, spine, engage our core, and then we will free our shoulder to produce that movement and throw the ball, right?
Yeah.
So is he able to engage himself in such games like ball throwing and all in a healthy competitive manner? I will not say ki, it should be very high on stuff, but I will say that it should be that he is able to manage that part.
Okay, well, I think that part is missing here because when he is with his OT, I mean, with his
Yeah.
therapist, that time they make him stand on a vestibular plate or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
They throw a ball from a shorter distance, I would say, not
Yeah.
not a very big distance,
Yeah.
and he's able to throw back to them. But when
Yeah.
I try the same thing at home, he would just make 3 or 4 attempts to throw the ball, and it wouldn't go to a longer distance, and then he would drop the game. He would not want to continue with the game.
Okay, fine. So there's a lot of area of interest also. Right.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, but if you're just talking about the strength, he has the required muscle strength, but because of the low tone, possibly he's not able to manage the fine motor things.
Yes.
Gross motor he is good with. Now balancing and all, everything has
Yes.
come, but
So,
I was on
Sarika
his.
ji, when we talk about again low tone, so in low tone, the core activation activities really helps to optimize that up.
Okay.
So yes, core based activities will help your child.
Okay. Nitishji, I would also want you to repeat the name of your YouTube channel once more because I heard Pathshala, couldn't hear it properly.
It's Pranav's Fun Pathshala.
It is
Pranav's Fun Pathshala.
Pranav's Pathshala. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you
Pranav's
so
Fun
much.
Pathshala. Yeah, thank you. Ma'am.
Lovely session too.
Yeah, thank you so much.
हाँ मैं जाती हूँ नहीं वो बेटी आजकल इस पे हो रहा है ना फेसबुक पे
So Rajiv, are there any more questions?
करनी है तो कुछ भाभी करनी है, भाभी करनी है, भाभी करनी है। सैनिटाइजर बॉटल भूल गई।
Okay, friends, as we have discussed all the things here, so I would like to say bye to everyone now. Thanks for attending my session. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye, sir.